This is Travel in 10.
And now, your host, David Brody.
Hi, and welcome to another Travel in 10 Tokyo in 10 edition. Today we're going to be going to Shibuya, which is really the center of the action here in Tokyo, one of the most exciting parts of the city, and a great place to go spend some time. Shibuya and Shinjuku both are two areas that you could sort of describe as the downtowns of Tokyo, although Tokyo is made up of a series of almost small independent cities all over the place, made up of over 35 million people if you include Yokohama. Shibuya is definitely one of the busiest and one of the most exciting. So that's what we're off to today, Shibuya. It's going to be a short show, and we hope you enjoy it. Well, welcome to Shibuya. This is probably one of the busiest, most interesting parts of Tokyo, and if you had a perception of Tokyo before you came here, this is probably exactly the sort of place you would have thought of. Bright lights, neon everywhere, karaoke everywhere. If you ever see the movie Blade Runner, it looks like you've walked right into it here. And Shibuya and Shinjuku are probably the two most sort of heavily concentrated areas of shopping, restaurants, and entertainment venues anywhere in Tokyo. You're going to find great bars here, great restaurants. This is sort of the place where teenagers in Tokyo come, so a lot of things that are geared towards them. And we're just going to describe quickly three great stores that you can find here in the area. This is by no means a definitive guide to shopping in Shibuya, but we'll give you an idea of three cool places that you can get started and at least get you out walking around the neighborhood and gives you a few ideas to start your adventure. So the first place I would recommend is a store called Shibuya 109. It's easy to find coming out of the subway because one great thing is numbers are universal, so 109 is pretty easy to recognize on signs, where a lot of these other places here are not so easy. But coming out of the subway, you'll see an exit specifically into the 109 store, and it takes you into a huge sort of shopping mall, probably about 6 stories, with just boutiques packed in one after the other, all selling different types of clothes, all sort of the latest fashion trends, primarily geared at young Japanese girls. But if you're looking for a souvenir to bring home for somebody, this is probably a great place to get it. If you've got somebody back home waiting for something from Japan, you can definitely find some cool, unusual things here that you're not going to find anywhere else. It's a place where I would say you're going to need at least sort of 45 minutes to an hour just to take a quick look through it. There's just so much to take a look at while you're here. Coming out of 109, if you head out of the store, and you should be able to see coming out the front of 109 off on the left-hand side a large Vodafone shop. It's about 5 stories tall with a huge Vodafone sign on it. And if you've seen the Vodafone shop, just continue up that same street, take a left and just head straight up the street for about 2 blocks, and you're going to come to a store called Quiote. Unfortunately, this one's a little tougher to find in that there's no English language signage out front. It's all in Japanese, but you might be able to recognize the mascot for the store, which is a large blue penguin on a big sort of cartoon penguin on the sign. And you also see the merchandise from inside spilling out onto the street. And this is sort of a Kmart, Walmart discount type place. But being in Japan, you can obviously find all kinds of cool Japanese household stuff at very inexpensive prices. Probably one of the least expensive stores here in Tokyo, and lots of great finds here. You're going to find everything from chopsticks to miso soup bowls to sake cups that you could buy for $1 or $2 each, to just any type of household thing you can imagine, to food, clothing, CDs, MP3 players, really just a huge selection of stuff. Coming out of Don Quixote, if you've spent some time exploring there and looking for one more place to hit, is nearby there's a store called Tokyu Hands. Now, this isn't to be confused with, you're going to find a couple of other department stores in the neighborhood called Tokyu, but only one Tokyu Hands branch here in Shibuya. And this is sort of, again, a very bizarre combination of things they carry. I would almost compare it to somewhere like a Home Depot back in Canada, because they do have a huge hardware section and a place where you can buy things like cabinets or wood to do a building project. But in addition to that, you're also going to find a whole floor with magic tricks, another floor with Japanese toys. You're not going to find any clothes here, but other than clothes, you could probably find almost anything you can imagine. But again, this is about 7 stories. You can easily get lost here, and a great place to spend an hour or two. And between these 3 stores, you can definitely find some great souvenirs to bring home, and definitely worth spending some time checking out.
Broadcasting from our studios in Ginza, this is Tokyo in 10, your 10-minute window on the world's biggest city.
Now, when it comes to finding places to eat, there's also no shortage here in Shibuya. you're going to find one thing that's quite different than North America or Europe is that most of the places aren't on the ground level. So as you're walking through, you're going to have to look up. A lot of the buildings here are 15, 20 stories, and a lot of the restaurants are on the 9th, 10th, 11th story and up. And that's where you're going to find a lot of the best places. One place I have to mention, just because it's a bit unusual, is a place called Sweets Paradise. 90 minutes. It costs you about $14 for 90 minutes of all you can eat of. They've got pasta and sandwiches and things like that, but most importantly, and what they're known for, is their desserts. Probably about 100 different varieties of cake, from cheesecake to Black Forest cake to coffee cake, as well as any type of dessert you can imagine. And you can eat as much of it as you want for an hour and a half for $14. So not bad value at all for here in Tokyo. But you're going to find tons of restaurants here. If you're looking for a traditional Japanese place with tatami floors, or if you're looking for a Brazilian all-you-can-eat barbecue, or Italian. I mean, this is really anything you can want anywhere in the world. This is the place you're going to find it. It's here in Shibuya.
Thanks for listening to the Travel in 10 podcast. Please email any questions, comments, or suggestions you have to travelin10@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of Travel in 10.